Can you see me okay? Oh boy. We are not talking about human loan today. I'm sorry. Wait, how do I change it? I'll just type it. Oops. If only I could type. Today is tea day. We're gonna be talking about things that I need, things that are happening in my life that that I need help with or something like. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Just making sure everything's running smoothly. It's okay. We can still make it work. Hmm. I'll probably have to change that in the actual YouTube. Sorry if the lighting's kind of terrible. It's still kind of early in the morning. I do have my light on though. It looks very good. Okay, yes. There we go. Tea time with Murray, with Winter. There we go. Still making sure everything's running neatly. Okay, there it goes. We'll get started in 5 minutes. 2 minutes, excuse me. Do you have any birthdays today? Happy birthday. So I got a lot of things I want to talk about today. Uh, Yesterday was my first day streaming. It went really well. I loved it. We talked all about Human Long, and I want to show you something cool for Human Long. I'm gonna tell you a bit of a story real quick. So as I was doing, ew, there's like a reverb, like a echo. Ew, how do I get rid of that? Somebody tell me, please. I usually go BS, but anyways, I had finally finished my book report on Human Long. So like my actual notebook was looking kind of ratty. So I wanted to get an actual nice notebook so I could transfer my notes from the old book to the new one. So I went to Barnes and Nobles, and I was like, huh. I was looking through the notebooks, right, and there's a couple of nice ones, but like there was one that stood out the most to me. It was this one. This camera does not do it justice, but if you can see, it's like a raven with black leaves all around it and red roses. I just love it so much. And, ravens symbolize wisdom or message from somebody from the beyond, which is very nice. Let me see. Yeah, ravens symbolize complex, often contradictory ideas like transformation, death, and rebirth, acting as messengers between worlds, embodying wisdom and mystery, but also trickery and foreboding. Hmm, I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could signalize, but this is the one that I got. It really stood out to me. Like this is for you because the topic of You Know My Long is very dark. So I thought this was like a message from him or God, been like, hey, this is perfect for you. It's the little things. So just thought I'd share that with you. Today's tease is about my ex best friend, and then I might get into talking about my ex because there's a lot of things they both put me through. Don't worry, they weren't together or nothing like that, but they both did me wrong in ways really hurt me. But I think I'm gonna start with my ex best friend. I've been knowing her for 12 years. So, you guys listen to this and tell me what you guys think at the end. I'm sorry, the echo is kind of throwing me off. So basically, it all started 2 years ago when I got my car. We'll call her Angela. Or no, we're not gonna call her Angela. Sorry. Let's call her. Dang. What should we call her? Ex best friend. Ex best friend was mad because she thought I was rubbing it in her face, which I wasn't. Like, I swear to God, I was not. The only time I would mention the car to her is to ask her questions about how to care for the car. Because she's had a few cars in her lifetime. So, like, I can honestly say I wasn't pushing it in her face, or maybe she was just jealous of that. And then I heard from another woman that I used to work with that it sounded like she was jealous of me, because that girl was friends with me too at my job because we all work together. My ex best friend still works at my job. So, but one of our coworkers, like they were saying that she sounded like she was jealous because I got, like a car or whatever. I'm like, she's jealous of what? She's had thousands of cars. Plus, my car's on lease or whatever. I mean, the bank paid for it, but I'm still paying the bank back for it. But still, what does she get to be jealous of? And I was thinking, like, maybe she was mad because when I first got the car, she had asked me if she could drive it, right? And I told her no because, well, I didn't say this to her, but, like, for one, she's supposed to wear glasses when she drives, but she does not wear glasses. So she gets into car accidents a lot. And I just didn't want her driving my car. Plus, it's a new car, it's on loan. I only trust me driving it and my parents. Like, they've driven it a couple times, but that's after I've had the car for 2 years. Then I started trusting people to drive it. And then my little sister's driving it like for 4 hours to her place, whatever place she was going to play at, and then back. It was for a job. So like, I rarely even let people drive her. It makes sense. But that's different. Shouldn't be jealous of that. So then, ex best friend had unfriended me because of that. And then later on that same year, or it could have been the next year. Yeah, it was a year after that. Wait. Let me think. Yeah, it was that same year. I'll tell you about my ex roommate later. But this is the reason why I moved out of that apartment. But I'd gotten my own little apartment, my little studio apartment. This one actually, and I just moved into my apartment, right? And best friend had wanted to move in with me because she got into it with her current fling at the time. And I told her that since I had just moved in, I didn't want to let her crash with me just yet because the landlord was coming to the apartment a lot because there was complaints about another. Ew, I'm sorry. There's like a hold on. Let me adjust the audio. It's like an echo or something. I wasn't doing it yesterday. I don't know how to make it stop. It's very distracting. But anyways, the landlord was in and out because there was another tenant that was smoking weed or whatever, and everybody was complaining about him. So the landlord was in and out. And I didn't want her to stay with me because of that. I didn't want to get in trouble. I just moved into the apartment, and I didn't want to get in trouble. But apparently, ex best friend didn't care. She's been going around telling people that, oh, she's not letting me stay with her. That's not a good best friend and whatever. I heard it from my boss. We've been knowing each other for years. So he was telling me like what was going on. I'm like, jeez. Like my lease doesn't allow subletters. I was a subletter myself, but it was okay because of the lease. So, but and she had stayed with me at my last two houses too. Um, the one before this one, and then the one before that one. My last apartment that I was at, I had a roommate, and I've been living there for about 6 years. Yeah, he wanted ex best friend to pitch in for rent. She didn't want to. She wanted to try and just pay for my meals at work with food stamps. I'm just like, that's not enough, bro. Like, you gotta actually pay rent. I can take care of my own food. She just, that's what she does. She just hops from couch to couch, living off the kindness of others. And certain people like that, you think they're your friends, but they're really not. Like if they see you're doing a little bit better than them, they get start to get jealous, and they'll fall out with you and whatnot. Just like wow. But I Ben knew this. I should have unfriended her a long time ago. Because I'm just like a nice person or whatever. Like I didn't want to be falling out with people. I like having friends. I think it's more the fact that I've just been knowing her for so long. It's hard to like, stop being someone's friend, but that's not that's not great. No, like our biggest fallout happened years ago. She fell out with me and my other best friend, who was her bestie also, but the other girl was smarter than me and cut her out of her life. Well, ex best friend was complaining about her her girlfriend to us at the time, and telling us stuff like her girlfriend hit her and she doesn't listen. Well, when me and my bestie heard that, like we were calling the girl mean things because she hit our friend. Well, what me and my current best friend didn't know was that beyond best friend was repeating what we said back to her girlfriend. So, like, say she'll start complaining about the girl. Oh, she's having her ex in there, and they're like, oh yeah, she's a hoe or whatever, or just saying stuff. It was mean stuff, but our ex best friend would go repeat what we said back to the girlfriend. And she wouldn't tell the girlfriend why we said that stuff. So it just sounded like we were just being bullies. No, I'm trying to remember, like, her and the girl would get into it, right? So one day her girlfriend reached out to me asking why her name was in my mouth. And that night, me, ex best friend, and my bestie were at my house. I told the girlfriend to come over so we could talk, right? So we could talk things out like grown women. Because I was tired of the he said, she said thing. The girlfriend agreed. So when she came, we started talking and found out that ex best friend was manipulating what we said and what happened. And when her and her girl would get into it, she would tell her how her friends, us, would hate her and call her names. But she didn't tell the girlfriend why we would say those things. She didn't tell the girlfriend that she said those things because that we had said those things because ex best friend told us that she put her hands on her or called her a loser. We were sticking up for our best friend. Well, needless to say, the girlfriend broke up with her then and there. Like we all stopped being her friend. But I'm a very forgiving person, so she came into my DMs a year later and apologized that I forgave her. I shouldn't have. Come to find out, like it was they both were fighting. It's like Bianca would say some. Oh damn, what's her name? So and so would keep on saying stupid stuff or whatever. Because I've heard her talk. And she's got a mouth on her. She's got a mouth on her. But that was the first time I ever stopped being her friend. Like I confronted her. Man, I wish I still had, because I would not be going through what I'm going right now. In recent years, I've helped her apartment hunt. I've also helped her get a job at a very nice nursing home because she's a nurse aide. I put in a good word for her. She ended up quitting because she didn't want to wake up during the day for training, which was only a week long, and they paid for her training and put her up in a nice hotel, man. And she said they didn't pay enough. It's like, okay, man, it's just a temporary situation. This you they would pay for all her certifications too. There was not all of them, but there was a couple ones that she didn't have, so they're gonna pay for that too. But like, and it would have been third shift too. It would have been a nice little sum, to lead her into something else. It's very rare that companies pay for your certification, at least in my experience. But I was a CNA back in 2011, so that was a long time ago. But it's very rare. It was a nice setup. I was mad that she lost it. And during that time, she was living with me at my apartment before this one. And back then I was helping her do apartment hunting. And then too, like we'd be driving around the neighborhood. I would be getting out the car, writing down the for rent signs, or taking pictures and writing down the numbers. And I was like, "Here, you call these all up." We got like up to 18 one time, but of course she doesn't remember all of that. So, but and now the job that she's at right now, I helped her get that job because I worked there. I've been working there for almost 8 years. Be going on 8 years soon, so that's great. But hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, so the job that we're both at right now, I helped her get in. Can you guys hear that? I'm sorry. I'm right next to my window, and his car is driving by. So, but she had originally failed the initial test to get in. I helped her the second time, and she passed. And that's what she's done to me. And there's a worse story about her, like how she let me eat cornbread off the floor of her truck at the time without me knowing it. So basically, I had left cornbread in her truck, right? And uh, that day I was like, "Hey, can you just bring it to me tomorrow? I'll eat it tomorrow." She goes, "Sure, yeah." Next day, I see her. I got in her truck and she handed me the cornbread, right? And I started eating the shit. And I noticed there was a hair on it. I'm like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What happened to it?" And she just started laughing at me. Because I remember when I started eating it, like I looked at the side. I started like just smirking at me, just evil. So I asked her what happened to it. She goes, "Oh, my I was babysitting my girl's kids yesterday, and they stepped on it." I was like, "What? You didn't think to tell me that before I ate it?" And she was like, "Oh, like you didn't give me a chance to." I'm like, "What the fuck? You should have tossed it out." It's like you didn't. It's like no, like I'm not even lying about this. I wish I was, but like even with like I say, if I didn't give her enough chance to say it or whatever, you should have just tossed it out. And I didn't start eating it that quickly. Like it's like I was in shock and I was disgusted. That was the cornbread story. There was also the time when she had COVID and didn't tell me. This was during like the height of COVID. Well, not height, but like it was like a little bit after after the ban had removed. The ban had been sorry. This is after the ban had been removed, and we were going to Denny's like we always do. And then as I was going along, she was like, "Oh, I tested positive for COVID." I'm just like, "Why wouldn't you tell me that before I get in the car?" She goes, "I don't feel nothing." I'm like, "Bro, I have a compromised immune system. I get sick easily." I got sick right after that, and like I felt like I was dying. That was at my other house before this one. That's another thing that she's done to me, you know? And then there's a time when my grandpa died. Because we both worked together, I had told her that I wouldn't be in that night. And she said, "Who cares? Ain't nobody gonna miss you." At the time, I believe that we had got back to being friends after the car incident. So, like, it was still kind of new or whatever. But I was shocked that she would even say that. Like, I wouldn't even say that to my worst enemy. Like, why the fuck would you say that to me? And then our boss at the time, like I told him, he goes, I feel like everybody was just brushing it off. Everybody was brushing off the way she was treating me because they all wanted us to just to be like just to work together, or whatever, work out or whatever. But like no, like the reason why I became friends with her again after the car accident was because of the job. So I thought it'd be easier, if we were friends or whatever. But it just was not the same. She was still a cunning little snake. Now, let's not forget to mention the time when she found somebody's debit card in the break room and swiped it and bought a soda with it. Like I told her to tell the boss, and she did, but I feel bad because I stuck up with her. I was like, oh, she wasn't thinking. She's got something or ADHD. I was just coming up with an excuse for her, but I shouldn't have done that. But like our boss knows she betrayed him too. That I'm not trying to think of what happened that night. Uh, well, the night before there was three associates, right? Me, her, and then another guy. And she had volunteered herself to do another job. That's another thing about her because we both work at the same job. We both worked under like maintenance. So every now and again, she would volunteer herself to do other jobs like stocking. And it's like you're not supposed to do that at all. You come to the work start you come to work and you do the job that you're supposed to do. You don't get to pick and choose. And it's like there's been times I don't want to do my job too, but I don't be volunteering myself to do other people's jobs. That's so unprofessional. And that night was bail night, like plastic bail night. For you guys that don't know what plastic bails are, I work in like a retail type situation. And sorry, somebody was beeping. Oh, sorry. Uh, all the plastic in the company or the business, people stock during the day. There's plastic or whatever stuff that the items come in. They'll put it in big bags, and then they'll take it to like this holding carrying thing. I can't show you. I'm sorry. And they'll just put it all in there. And once a week, we gotta take all the plastic out and put it into the baler. And the baler like smushes it all down, so we can like wrap it. And that's what a bale is. Very important day. And she like got out of it by volunteering herself to stock. And she's done it multiple times. And it's like she knew they were supposed to do a bail that night, and then like she purposefully volunteered herself to do other things. She's been talked to about the bot from the boss that. Ew, sorry, I can still hear the echo. She's been talked to by our boss thousands of times for doing that. I'm like, why isn't she being let go? After the credit cards swipe on the machine, she should have been fired, even with me sticking up for her. Like my company has a very bad habit of not firing people that they should fire. But like the next day was just me and her. and she came in late. And then Jason was asking about why the plastic bell hadn't been done, you know. And then she goes, "What does it matter what I do?" And he was like, he goes, "It does matter." He said something, and then she stormed out. After that, she should have been let go. I wouldn't be dealing with what I'm dealing right now if she wasn't still working there. Like, and then the next day, apparently, uh, she had complained about her or something to the higher ups or whatever, and lied on Jason about what happened. And then there was a investigation. Of course, he didn't get let go because I trust the boss. Like I do. I mean, he's a no play kind of guy, but he is play. How do you say it? He knows when to get serious and work, and if she doesn't want to do something, she's gonna volunteer herself for something else. And I hated that. And on bail nights, three people would have been perfect, but because it was just me and her, like we gotta do like more things. So it was impossible for us to do a bail night that night. And she didn't want to be held accountable for that. And apparently, according to my boss, he had told me that she purposefully did that so she could get us in trouble. Because, it was supposed to be a bail night, but we didn't do it because she had complained to him that we didn't do plastic bail. She didn't tell him that she had volunteered to do another job. You see how sneaky she is? Like, that's just sneaky, manipulative, all that stuff. And that's not even including the time she stole from me. So this is the first time. The first time she stole from me was so sometimes I'm broke, right? I'm broke. And that week I was broke, right? So I bought like this package of sandwiches, four in a pack. That was gonna last me my whole work week. And so I got to the last day, right? And I noticed my chicken sandwich was gone. I can't remember the box was still there. I think the box was still there. Like it was so insulting. And for months, right? Maybe like 2 months, I kept on bringing it up to people and complaining about it because people were saying people were eating their food out of their fridge. Not them, but other people. Like someone was stealing their food, basically. And for like 2, 3 months, I was, would be complaining about it. She'd be standing right there listening to me. So then one day she was like, "I told you I ate that." I'm like, "The fuck you didn't." Sorry, excuse my language. I'm like, "You did not tell me that." She goes, "Yes, I did. You just don't remember none." I said, "You didn't tell me. I would have definitely remembered that." Now I was on my last sandwich of the week, and I had no money. Sid, my coworker had to buy me something. I'm like, "You didn't tell me that. I would have remembered that." And if you had asked, I would have told you no, because she didn't ask me. She really did not ask me. And then there was another time recently, even though we're not friends no more. Like she was drinking my soda out of the fridge. Like I was about to go in there and get my soda, and I saw her drinking it. I didn't say shit to her. Like at this point, I just have nothing left to talk to her about. Like I was like, let her drink my soda since she's so broke. But like I was so over it. I'm just like so over her. Like if you're broke, just say that. And not to mention other times she stole from me. Uh, every year before this year, she'd be going back home or whatever. Something would happen with her current stay, and then she'd get into it with them and they'd kick her out, so then she had to go back home. So what happened was she stole my charger, right? This is my backup charger for work, just in case like my phone goes dead. And she stole it. Like I just like, and I asked her, like, did you ever see my charger? And she goes, oh, I have it. I didn't think you needed it. She's like, oh, whatever. I'm like, I'll never get that back again. But when she came back a few months later, she gave it back to me. But still, like, that was mine. Like, the day I needed it, my phone was about to die. I had to buy another charger. That's that was pretty much that evil ex best friend story. But the sad part is that she still works at my job, and now she's complaining about me behind my back. One lady at work who I've known well before my ex best friend started working at my job. She told me she was like, a group of people here are talking mad shit about you. I'm like, I bet you I know exactly who it is. She goes, why? I said probably it's because I told her the whole story about ex best friend. And she couldn't believe it. But the thing that's kind of pissing me off is that she's still like talking to my ex best friend. Like everybody's smiling in her face, even though they know what she's done. It's like nobody cares. I know it's wrong. Like I shouldn't care like that. Like I wish she'd just get fired already. Like please, she should have been fired so long ago. I got terminated twice from that job, but both times were not my fault. First time, I gotten sick, right? I had to go through Sedgwick, and there's a time period of like when they can approve it or whatever. But the lady was away on vacation, so the time had expired before she came back. And then Walmart was like, "Bye." I was like, "Damn, like it's still open." And they said, "We'll have open policy for you." The next day, I called the lady. I'm like, "Hey, can you do it now, please? My job just fired me." And she goes, "Sure, I'll do it right now." So God bless her heart. And then Walmart hired me back right away. They were gonna do it anyways. The second time was because of my ex boss. She like my schedule had been messed up for 2 months, right? And she said, "I'll just fix it manually." And guess who was too lazy to fix it manually? Her. And on one day, like on the days, like, one time on a day that I was supposed to come in, like, I was actually not supposed to come in the day. I was like original day off, so I didn't come in, right? She had the nerve to be like, "You get to come in, or you're gonna get a point." I said, This is my automatic scheduled day off. These are one of those boxed off days that they can't schedule you. Oh, I cannot say that word. So like, they're not supposed to schedule you, but they did. And so that day I was like, screw it. I'm just not gonna come in. And then she called me. She goes, "You need to be here because you're on the schedule." I said, "No, it's not one of my scheduled days," which means I don't have to come in. But she goes, "I'm gonna put you on the schedule right now. And if you don't come in, you get 2 points for it." I had to come in. And then that morning, though, the next morning, because I worked third shift, that morning I talked to the HR. And I told her exactly no, 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 it wasn't HR. It was my coach. And they're above the team lead. And I told him what she did. And he goes, that's, what did he say? It's against policy for what she did. I said, yeah, you need to talk to her because I said, I've been asking her to fix my schedule for 2 months now. And I got sick of asking. And then she's going to go and do that. He goes, yeah, she shouldn't have done that. So he pulled her into the office. I'm like, yeah, you don't do that. Just lazy, just Eve, just annoying. But The second time was because of that lady. I got fired because of that. A separate time, another time she tried to pull that. My schedule was messed up. I told her about it. She goes, "I'll just move it." What did she say? She said, "I'll take care of it or whatever. I'll just remove the points." She never removed the points. So I got the system fired me. It's like an automatic thing. It's not like actually it is. I ended up getting on the list to be fired basically, and higher ups, corporate wanted to fire me because I've been on the list. I'm like, no. When I got fired that day, they said they'd open window again, open doors. They'd open door again. So when I called HR, I said they scheduled me for a day that I've marked off. And he goes, "Yeah, we'll fix it. You can come back." So that was the two times I got fired, but it wasn't my fault, and they let me come back. But I'm very reliable. But other than that, like that's the story of Walmart. Wally World. I could talk about my ex. You guys want me to talk about that? Let me know. Are you guys enjoying today's live? Are you guys enjoying today's live? Is it repeating? Oh Lord, I hope not. I'll turn on so I'm sure you can hear me breathing. Should I put away a little bit? Should I put away a little bit? Yeah, it's repeating. Hold on, let me do some things. Oh, I thought YouTube was already connected. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about my ex because this has been heavy on my heart for years. This man put me through so much. You guys want me to talk about that? Hold on, I'm adjusting. Huh. Sorry, just the controls are very large. All right. I think I'll call it a day. Thanks for joining, guys. I'll be on tomorrow. We are going to do whatever Wednesday. I was going to be doing like watching YouTube videos, commenting on them and that kind of stuff, reading Reddit stories, reading FMLs. Might decide to play some games. Depends. But yeah. Love you guys. Bye. We'll talk about my ex next week because that's a whole thing. That's like also 4 long pages. Because like after I broke up with him, like I could breathe. Like I wasn't dreading him coming home. I could hang out with my friends. My health started to improve. All that stuff. But it needs some tweaking. So I'm gonna do it next week. Bye guys.